V-shaped recovery that Wall Street's looked for? And does this impact your stimulus? Inflation. New concerns that inflation is around the corner. Then, big concerns about Wall Street as stocks plummet among concerns that inflation and rebounding economy could be around the corner. Power. It continues with outages across the Midwest. Texas remains on another day of outages across a blanketing sea of snow. Then household debt. It continues to surge as millions of Americans grow more into debt to battle the pandemic. Finally, the missing stimulus check. IRS says there's a way to find the missing stimulus check, and they have a solution for you that's free. All these incredible big great news to start the new morning on Mornings LALATE. Good morning, everyone. Live from Los Angeles, this is Mornings LALATE. I'm so glad you joined me on a big broadcast for Wednesday morning, direct from Los Angeles. A lot of details breaking across the board. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The links to become a member and to subscribe are all at the top of the chat. And if you're tuning in shortly after 9 o'clock, this is a live chat. After that, it's then archived. Big developments across the board as the numbers for retail sales came in blowing away Wall Street's estimates. The insanely good numbers were nothing like Wall Street anticipated. In December, retail sales shrunk, shocking analysts as the number of people spending contracted as COVID surged and lockdowns increased. Wall Street was expecting a 1.2 rise in retail sales numbers announced shortly before sunrise today. I had detailed them to you on early mornings LALATE. But where did the number come in? Amid a concern about a 1.2% increase, it would have shown a positive. The number blew it out of the water. 5.3% was the retail sales number in January, showing a massive surge in consumer spending across the country. Retail came back in a flurry. The surge in retail sales were higher than expected, and with that came concerns. The labor market this morning released the producer price index, and the concern is inflation, and the concern is raising interest rates. The labor market Wednesday said the producer price index, a measure of how much you spend for items like milk and eggs, rose again, 1.3%. The rise of 1.3% in consumer staples was the highest jump since December 2009. This means if you're going to buy milk and eggs at the local market, they went up 1.3% after retail sales went through the roof. Means people are spending a lot more money on retail than ever before. An enormous surge, but in the same regard, retailers are charging more for those items. So what is the reaction this morning? The reaction is a concern that inflation could be around the corner. Inflation means when your price of goods go up higher and it costs more to live. We are filling in a major gap from March of 2020. So as long as we remain orderly and rates move up for the right reasons, it's short-term okay. Gregory Farinello, U.S. rates trade head at Amervest Securities, in a statement obtained by LA this morning, he's basically saying short-term raises of rates are fine. Short-term raises of spending of consumer staples is fine. But the Fed is watching. Should financial services continue to tighten with more higher rates, the Fed will react, and quickly. What's Wall Street's reaction? The Dow Jones is down $19 this morning, but NASDAQ is falling sharply, down 177 points this morning, down 1.26%. Let's recap that scenario then. The day started with Wall Street expecting that retail sales would go up slightly after it fell in December. It fell in December and they're expecting a 1.2% rise. It went up 5.3%. An enormous surge, saying that people are spending a lot of money in retail sales in the month of January. Well, Department of Labor said at those same stores, the price of goods went up. And the price of goods went up the most that they've seen in a rise since 2009. Thank you, DC, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And the dancing bear. That rise of consumer staples as the highest since 2009 worries Wall Street because they think that inflation's around the corner. And inflation's around the corner, it means that the Federal Reserve will raise rates and the stock market will crash or tighten. Power remains a big issue across much of the Midwest and Southwest. Texas had 5 million residents without power 2 days in a row, and the situation continues this morning. Thank you, Ashley, for the dancing pair. I really appreciate it. A significant amount of capacity remains offline, noted Morris Greenberg, senior manager at S&P Global Platts Analytics. 3 million barrels per day of oil remains offline this morning. With oil wells and refineries offline, we could be facing a significant shortfall for a number of days, further tightening supply at a time when it's already been restricted and the demand is expected to return, wrote Craig Earlham, senior market analyst at Onada. And how about that stimulus check? More about that stimulus check coming up in a second, but in the third stimulus package, you're getting a $1,400 stimulus check, $2,800 for married couples, $1,400 for children, $1,400 for adult dependents. If you are a parent of children 5 years or younger, you're getting $5,000 stimulus checks per child. That's $3,600 per child and $1,400 for a stimulus check. 14 plus 3,600. More about that in a second. If you're a parent that has children 17 to 6, you're getting $3,000 plus $1,400. If you're a college student, you're getting $1,700 plus $1,400. If you are a individual who has a business, you're getting a $5,000 grant and you're getting $1,400 for yourself as well. All those details coming up in a second, and renewed optimism for the SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits, $200 a month. More about that shortly. Meantime, debt continues to rise. Household debt rose to $14.6 trillion due to record-breaking mortgage loans, says a new report this morning. New York Fed economists said in a blog post this morning that it'll be interesting to see whether households will remain at these high levels of home purchases and refinances into 2021, and more generally how households will adjust their balance sheets depending in part on how long forbearances continue. Basically, it says that households are keeping on a lot of debt. Thank you for that cat, meow. I really appreciate that, for that wonderful cat. Oh, meow. Then, great news about the missing $600 stimulus check. The IRS issued a series of statements this morning about how to get that missing $600 stimulus check, and it's free. First, before I get into those details, let me explain something very simple. There are some people who are not required to file a tax return. But if you're not required to file a tax return, you can always voluntarily file a tax return. If you're a senior and you don't make enough money, you don't have to file a tax return, but you can always voluntarily file a tax return. And if you're on SSI and SSDI and you don't have to file a tax return, you're not required to, you can always voluntarily file a tax return. No person in the United States is prohibited from filing a tax return. It's a difference of whether you have to or can voluntarily choose to do so. So the great news that's announced this morning is that the IRS says that some people who did not get that first and second stimulus check can now claim it on what's called a recovery rebate credit by filing a 2020 tax return. So if you're missing that first stimulus check of $1,200 and that second stimulus check of $600, you can file a tax return now, and you go to a line 30, which calls for a recovery rebate credit and asks for those missing stimulus checks. Taxpayers who claim those missing stimulus checks will have it based upon their 2020 income, which, if you're a person who who's on SSI or SSDI, or a senior that doesn't make a lot of money, that doesn't make a difference which year it is. But then there's great news on top of that. The IRS is starting to accept it has launched a new program. It's called IRS Free File Program. Those individuals who made less than $72,000 in 2020 can use the IRS's Free File, F-I-L-E, program to file your tax return for free. Just go to irs.gov. Go to irs.gov and look for that free file program to file your tax return for free. Claim your missing stimulus check, your first and second, and it's on your way and you're done. You've been able to do that since February 12th, and you're on your way. With 10 minutes of the clock. Wow, that's a lot of news in just 10 minutes. Meantime, Berkshire Hathaway's investment in Chevron and Verizon was revealed on this channel overnight, and Verizon took a big surge, 3.7%, and Chevron up 3.5%. Neither investment seems to be very novel. Thank you. I missed who that was. That was Bonnie. Thank you for the massive super chat, for the very nice super chat, the dancing pair. I really appreciate that, Bonnie. Oops, there we go. Thank you for the massive super chat. With 1,000 people in the room and 381 likes. This morning I tried something new, and I think it may have worked. Hey, King Grado, how are you? How are you? Let me give you one big update before I continue. If you need help with rent, if you need help with utilities, if you need help with food, if you need help with mortgage assistance, reach out to the volunteers. The volunteers of this channel are viewers just like you who daily help hundreds of viewers who need assistance with rent, utilities, and food. They're helping them since last year, and they're absolutely salt of the earth. You can reach out to them by finding them on the community page of LLite. That community page is at the top of the chat. It's also in the description. It's also in the pinned comment. That community page has them separated from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Reach out to them indicating the city and state in which you live in and what you need assistance with, and they'll get back to you shortly. Give a little bit of time for some of them because they've been hit by the outages in the Midwest. Meantime, coming up later today is Home LLite at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. I'll be back live with you with a big update about your stimulus and more across the board. So make sure you don't miss that recording. And finally, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member, because today I tried a new idea. And that new idea was to send out notifications to members right before I go live. Normally, the way YouTube works is you can only have 3 notifications per day. And with a channel that has 12 shows per day, you can't get a notification for every show. But that's not the case for members. For members, I can send you notifications around the clock. I can send you 200, 300, 400 notifications a day. The notifications come right into your email, says Beverly just right now. And I think it's making a big difference. With 1,000 people in the room and 500 likes already, I think it's making a big difference. Meantime, viewers have asked me to bring back the IG live chat, because the IG is another way to get a live notification. In the next few days, you're going to see the new LLite, and I hope you are very excited as much as I am for what's in store, for the incredible viewing pleasure you're going to get from this channel. All right, with 13 minutes on the clock, make sure you like, subscribe, get those likes up, get those subscribers in, and jump into the room. And if you've not told your friends to come on in, share this video on Facebook, share it on Twitter. Tell people this is the best financial news channel there is. All right, let's cut to your stimulus check. The stimulus check amounts have different routing times. Oh, Chris, thank you for the massive super chat. I really appreciate it, my brother. How are you? So the third stimulus package has different routing times for stimulus checks. So let me go over them. The first thing is the check itself, $1,400. $1,400 that is dependent upon the day in which the bill becomes law. So you want to add at least about 10 days after that for when the bill becomes law. Now, when will the bill become law? The bill will land in the Senate about February 22nd, so we will see how long it gets tinkered with in the Senate. That's number one. Number two, children. Those children, $3,600. Thank you, Bruce, for the massive super chat. I really appreciate it. Children, the dancing pair, I mean, children will get $3,600 or $3,000. When are they going to get that? They're going to get those in installment payments or monthly payments, whatever language you like to use, starting the month of July. So, and those start as following. If the child is 5 to newborn, you'll get $300 a month per child. If the child is 17 to 6, you'll get $250 a child per month, starting in the month of July. So if you're a father of 7, you will get all those stimulus checks for those 7 kids, presuming they allow 7 stimulus checks. They may not allow, they may only allow 4 or 5, but you'll get those 7 stimulus checks, $1,400, as soon as the bill gets passed. And then shortly thereafter, you're going to get those monthly payments starting in the month of July. $35,000. $5,000 if they're all 5 years or younger. Next, if you worked during the pandemic as an essential worker and made less than $25,000, and you're probably tuning into Hazard Pay every night at 10 p.m., then you're going to get $1,400 plus $1,500. When is the $1,500 going to come? It's not particularly clear right now, but currently it looks like the $1,500 will be an earned income tax credit on next year's tax return, so it would not come right now. Next, the individuals who have businesses will get a $5,000 EIDL grant plus a $1,400 stimulus check to themselves. Now, the EIDL grant may go bigger and bolder than the $5,000. The language is hideously complex, and we have not gotten clarity about it yet. But presume the $5,000 EIDL grant will take a few days. What I want you to understand with the EIDL grant on the third stimulus package, it's different than prior EIDL grants. It actually says in there, you must pay SBA the money right away within 10 days, within 14 days. Now, I know that in March it said 3 days and it took 3 months, but let's stay positive and certainly think that the new SBA head will treat us differently than the prior SBA head, and there won't be any scarves involved. So $5,000 plus $1,400. Then, if you're a college student, you're going to get $1,700 of financial aid and $1,400. Now, I don't know when that $1,700 is going to land, and I don't know if it's a grant or a loan. I presume it's a grant. I don't know when or how it's going to land, and I don't know how they're going to know you're in college. So that's just sort of a mystery. Rent and utilities and mortgage assistance. That will probably be the slowest, and I don't want you to wait for the rent, utilities, or mortgage assistance in the third stimulus. I want you to reach out to the volunteers right now because they can help get you that money right away. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. Yesterday, I detailed on this channel what the $200 for SSI and SSDI has as its best option. As someone just said, when are we going to start receiving the $200 a month for SSI and SSDI? It's important you watch all the videos of this channel because I want you to know those answers. The answer is not. The answer is there is no bill currently to give you the $200 a month for SSI. The answer is there's nothing written yet that has been introduced as law to give you SSI and SSDI. The answer is none. So when people ask, when are we going to start to receive it, there's actually no bill for it. And this is where the purple power, the viewers of this channel need to step up and push. $200 a month starting for 12 months plus a new benchmark, which is CPIE, not COLA, plus a up to 20% increase, is something that was written in 2020. And who wrote it in 2020? Elizabeth Warren. And how did she write it? She wrote it in the bill. She wrote in the bill, she introduced to the Senate, which was co-signed by Chuck Schumer. At the time, Mitch McConnell was in charge of the Senate. Well, yesterday, this channel detailed for you the easiest path to get this to law. The easiest path is to just introduce it to the Senate as a new bill. Just change the date and introduce it as a new bill. I see some of the comments on the screen. Would it be retroactive? Well, she had it as just 12 months. She didn't have it as, January to this. She wrote it at the time as a March bill. So it may just go from, let's say April to April. It may go from, March to March if it was introduced now. So it doesn't necessarily have to be retro. She just wrote it as 12 months, which is very, very straightforward. People need to push, says Beverly. Absolutely. Zena agrees. We need to push. The bill's been written. It's on the computer. Just change the date, introduce it. Now, would she do it? Certainly. Can she do it? Yeah. Has she done something like this recently? She has. 2 weeks ago, she introduced a $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness. Hey, DeMarcy, how are you? Thank you for the dancing pair. I really appreciate it. A few days ago, she introduced a $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness. That is currently in the Senate. $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness. That's currently in the Senate. She wrote that. Chuck Schumer co-signed it. Thank you, Tiffany, for the dancing pair. I think a lot of people may have been coming out of the power outage because there's a lot more activity today than ever before. Um, and so she can do it again. Next, you're going to see throughout the day, I'm going to be covering the items of the third stimulus package. But I think the messaging remains the same. The messaging remains the same that ultimately I want you to ensure that you get the biggest, boldest stimulus you can. And people like Senator Ron Wyden want you to get a bigger stimulus package. But what does this economic news mean to you? Hey, Karen, I couldn't see that. Oh, thank you, Karen, for the massive cat. Oh, me, yeah, I really appreciate that. What does this economic data mean to you? This economic data means sort of the antithesis to what I talked about earlier. Robert's been asking about what about $2,000 monthly? Not happening. Not happening. No one's behind it. We're behind it, but no one else is behind it. Is that internet still unknown? The volunteers may know about it on the community page. The thing that I want you to know about is this consumer price spending number. I told you this morning that consumer, actually I told you last night, that if that consumer price spending number was really bad, it would spur the need for more stimulus and maybe another stimulus package. Now the number is really good. It's really, really good. And we have vaccination rates in the United States surging. There's indication we could reach herd immunity by July. There's indication that we could see 78% of the US population vaccinated by July. There's indication that all businesses may reopen by May or June. And with that, what does that mean for stimulus? It means if you want bigger, bolder stimulus, push right now, because this is the time and place to push for stimulus. You may not see fourth, fifth, sixth stimulus packages. You may not see them. Hey, Shastea, you may see standalone bills. You may see a standalone bill for SSI and SSDI. You will see another stimulus package after this. Thank you, Shastea, for the dancing bear. I really appreciate it. But you may not see a fourth or fifth or sixth. Well, you will see a fourth stimulus package. You may not see a fifth stimulus package, a sixth stimulus package, if this economic data continues to be as strong as it is. Now, ultimately, understand the following, that under all these stimulus packages, there's a lot of work to get this money. There's a lot of work to get this money. And I'm here to help you get all this work and money. As soon as the stimulus package comes out, I'm with you to get this money. We're together, working together to get this money. This is a team. This is a team. We are here to help one another, and I'm here to help you get this money. So understand that if a stimulus package comes out, I don't, right off into the sunset. That ain't happening. I'm not going to be live. Yes, I'm going to be next live at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, which is 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or 2 o'clock in the Midwest Central Standard Time. With 23 minutes on the clock, let me give you the big update where we are with 1,200 people in the room and 1,000 likes. Thumbs up, please, says Elisa. The big update as you start the new morning is Dow is down, NASDAQ is down sharply, down 177 points, down 1%, as data came in from the consumer spent from one part of the economy, and the numbers were so good, it made a lot of people nervous. Good numbers can make people fearful, and the numbers were the retail sales numbers. The retail sales numbers show that in January, consumer spending in retail went up 5.3%. Oh my goodness. It was down in December. They were expecting it to be up 1%, 1.2%. It blew it out of the water at 5.3. This means that people spent 5 times the amount that they anticipated Wall Street. These are great numbers, but great numbers come with relapse. The backstory to that is that the labor market today said that during that spending period of January, price of goods and services went up 1.3%. That is the biggest jump of prices for things that you spend since December 2019, excuse me, 2009. 2009. It means that price of milk and eggs went up the highest amount that they have seen on recorded history since 2009. That's not good. It means that merchants are trying to pass the costs over to you. And if that's the case, then inflation's around the corner. If inflation's around the corner, well, then what? Then the Federal Reserve will raise rates. And if the Federal Reserve raises rates, the economy contracts. Suddenly you see a lot of problems very quickly. But analysts like Gregory Fund Analysis, we can have a little bit of raise of interest rates. We just can't have a lot. And there you are. With a big morning. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. I'll next be live with you at 12 noon. Make sure you become a member. As a member, I was able to give an alert to all viewers before this video came live, and I'll do this again at 12 noon. I think it worked. 1,200 people, 700 likes. Stay in tune, stay focused. I'll see you in about 3 hours from now on Home LLate.